I'm Rachel. I play rhythm guitar and sing.
I'm Abby. I play bass and sing.
I'm Dan and I play drums.
I don't wanna talk right now. Sit in silence and work it out. I did something so bad last night. Accidents happen, but this one might. I don't wanna make it right.
We are going to talk about a single called Jewish Girl. Can you tell us a little bit about the writing process for this song?
I'm excited to talk about this one because it was such a cool kind of like iteration of writing. At first, I just wasn't even planning on writing it for anything. I was doing a song a day project with a good friend that lives in Minnesota. I was having a conversation with my roommate at the time, and we were talking about the different types of guilt and how there's like Jewish guilt and Catholic guilt, and basically based on your upbringing, how you might have one form of guilt that you've experienced culturally from your own upbringing, or you might have experienced that from larger society. I was just really interested in the juxtaposition of Jewish guilt and Catholic guilt, having
Mhm.
been brought up culturally Jewish in larger society, being exposed to Catholic guilt through friends or different experiences. I feel like it's infiltrated a lot of different aspects of society. Being able to write about those things together was interesting to me to be able to talk about my own experiences of guilt, but also the way we culturally deal with guilt. That was kind of like the first, yeah, like for just like my personal writing process. And then I'm sure Dan and Abby could kind of talk a little bit more about like what it was like after bringing it to the band, because that was interesting as well.
I wanted to ask Rachel before we get into like when you brought that song to the rest of the band and you started writing it out, but before when you were writing it on your own, what made you choose the title Jewish Girl? What does the title mean to you? And what did you hope people would interpret about the song before listening to it with that title?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for me, it was this idea that I think I am a Jewish girl with Catholic guilt, but I wanted to center the experience of being Jewish, and that's not really something that I tend to focus on in any of my writing, but it's a big part of my identity. I just thought it was something that made me feel proud in a way that I haven't been able to feel proud maybe in the past. It was cool to unapologetically write from that perspective.
Awesome. Now I'm curious if Abby or Dan want to pick up what it was like writing the rest of the song as a band together.
This song was super fun to work on. We went to a studio cabin to
Hmm.
work on writing our song. It was in Virginia. This one changed quite a lot during the writing process. Rachel and I were talking about this yesterday. She was remembering how the song started and where it is now. We played it live a couple of times, and it's one of my favorite ones to play live.
I remember vividly how this song came together. We went to a place called White Star for pre-production. It's outside of Charlottesville, Virginia. It was our first time meeting and working with our producer Kyle Pulley out of Philly at Headroom Studio. The first time we went was in February of last year to put all these songs together, which would become the album. The first time we did pre-production, this song was not part of that. We have our own little studio in Alexandria called The Lab. When we first went in, we had 6 songs. This was not one of them. This was the second time we went to White Star. We started putting this song together at the lab, at our rehearsal space. I remember this super vividly when the after the song was presented, it was sort of like this, the guitar was doing something kind of different. It was like this open D sort of tuning. It was like super jangly sounding. And I remember this was one of the first drum parts that I wrote like instantly. Do you remember this? I just went in, I went boom, 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 go. And I was talking about, I wanted to start off with drums. The original idea was that drums were starting this song, and then Connor's guitar comes in, and then Rachel's stuff comes in. And I will say that the bass line and the groove, like what I guess Kyle, our producer, would call in the pocket. This was one of the first times when we went back to White Star that we were really working on the groove of this. I remember the chorus was tricky because it was kind of different for, I would say, me and Abby, because like we're kind of just like rocking with some of these other songs, like our previous songs, like Gloom Scroll era. And this album and this song, there's a lot of groove. I love the rhythm section on this album, this group of songs. And Jewish Girl, I think, was the first one where I was like, dude, this groove is sick. And I remember having a hard time getting into the chorus. Do you remember this, Abby? I was like, is it a single kick? Is it a double kick?
Yeah,
And a lot of that had to
but
do
once
with
we
like,
got it.
yeah, I was like, I'm playing this forever. But I remember this was one of the songs that I worked with Kyle and Abby on at White Star after we had a different groove for that chorus. But yeah, we played it a few times live and it's pretty cool to play it live. We've always self-produced our stuff. So this was the first time we had like a person in the room with us. And I do want to give mad props to Kyle on this song specifically, not the other ones. No, just joking. This one specifically, with that groove, because it was his idea, I think, with the
Yeah. Oh my
do.
gosh, yeah.
That wasn't
Kyle's
the
such a
chorus.
great, yeah,
Yeah. I,
such a great producer, also a really great bass player. So I was really happy to work with him because I feel like it helped me get better at bass.
Rachel, when you say you, are you addressing yourself, God, or somebody in a relationship?
It's not a specific person, but it's more, I think a lot of the songs on the record were me coming to terms with an OCD diagnosis and this fear of harming other people. I think the you is vague because it could be anyone at any point
Mm,
in time. And so the like, I didn't
nice.
mean to hurt you, yeah, that could be Abby, that
Anybody.
could be anyone. Yeah. So
Cool.
that, and also like I do think the tenses tend to shift because the verses were completely rewritten. When I wrote the song initially, it was a totally different song. The verses and choruses were not mixing well, which is why it was part of the second tier songs that Dan was talking about. I love the chorus, and so then it shifted to be about the push and pull of like the guilt and like the experience of a bad night or something. But yeah, the you is general.
In the writing process for the song, were you intending it to be more confrontational, more reflective, or more cathartic, like an emotional eureka? What would you describe it as?
I like that term. Would you say emotional eureka? I
Yeah,
love
cathartic.
I
I
feel
feel
like
like
it's
that's
probably
what
a
I
combination
got
of
from it.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Definitely a combination of that and just like reflective. Yeah, just like trying to figure out like what's going on in here and in here. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it led to that emotional eureka.
Yeah.
I love
Nice.
that. Oh, we
Oh,
got a puppy.
dog. What's
I
their
can
name?
I'm sorry, guys. Abby used to live here just like a short period of time. I don't down in like my wife's office. I shut the door. It's much nicer in her office than my basement. And
Mhm.
when he figures out you shut the door, he just bangs on it. That's why I had it on mute, and now he has to sit. This is
He's so
Bang.
cute.
Oh. So jumping back in, a common theme in the single is shame and guilt. From the narrator's perspective or from your perspective, where does shame grow within us? Where does it stem from in the perspective of the song?
Shame is very ingrained in especially like US culture. And I think it's ingrained in a lot of different religious and cultural practices in different ways, which is why the song is so fun to play around with the different types. I think we learn it. I don't think it's something innate. I think it's something that we learn through relationships, through culture. I think it grows when we allow it to, because I think sometimes it feels like something that we have to figure out, or it feels like something that's true or real, when in reality it's validated by our own fear or the people around us or even larger cultural institutions. And so, yeah, I think that's how it's allowed to like grow and blossom into something that can be really terrible.
And was
Yeah.
there a specific event that sparked this writing process for Jewish Girl?
No, not one specific event. It was just this conversation that I had with my previous roommate, Callie, who was talking about different types of guilt, and it made me reflect on different experiences that I've had where different types of guilt might come up.
I feel like you did a really amazing job with the lyrics, capturing this personal and cultural tension in this track. I have another question. If the narrator could say one honest sentence out loud instead of saying silent, what would it be? I feel like, given the lyrics, it's almost avoiding the truth, would you say?
Yeah, I think so. Ooh, that's a really good question. I think like maybe one thing that would be honest and true is that, like, I think maybe what the narrator wants you to believe is that she didn't do something so bad last night. And I think the whole point is maybe you did do something so bad, but everyone does bad things sometimes, and that's part of being human, and that doesn't, like, one bad event or one bad night doesn't make or break who you are or put us into a box of good or bad, even though that is how it might feel to a brain that wants to believe those types of black and white thought patterns. So maybe that's like, yeah, a more nuanced way to explain the truth than what maybe the narrator would want you to believe.
So this single is opening the door to a bigger project. This is the second single on the future EP that you'll be releasing.
Yeah, we're not 100% sure if it'll be EP or
Okay.
full record, depending on how things go moving forward. And yeah, we've just been taking it one single at a time.
Is there anything about the rollout that you have in mind? Any particular visuals or maybe a potential music video coming out? Do you have any ideas in the works to get people excited, or is it just going with the flow right now?
I'm personally excited about it for the last two singles. The previous one was called Forget My Name, this one being Jewish Girl. We've worked with the same local artist for the single cover. Her name is Kasey Foley is her Instagram handle. She does embroidery on photography.
Super talented and super sweet.
We found her because we were at an art event and saw her work and we're like, we'd love to do some sort of collaboration or commission work. So yeah, that's a really big visual part of the songs that are coming out. We've really just been trying to collaborate with as many different artists and creatives as possible this time around, and not just going with the same usual suspects in DC, but really trying to collaborate with as many different folks as possible, because I think that makes us all have deeper relationships and it makes me excited about all the stuff that we can create together.
So I read an interview of yours and I saw that you went on a small break from making music from 2020 to 2024, but you still went on tours. What sparked you to start writing again, or at least to start releasing again?
So we were always doing creative stuff, even if we weren't releasing new music. I think the way that we had done it in the past with our Gloom Scroll EPs and with Pretty Dark is that we would write periodically and then we would put together a song. And then by the time we had 12 songs, we were like, let's go in the studio. I'm around. I think Dan really challenged us to be like, what if we just went in the studio and said, we are going to write instead of putting it together slowly as time allows. What if we just write as much as we possibly can and see if we do that in an intentional way, put all of our resources into that? What does that look like as far as maybe trying to write and finish an album within a year, which was what we did. We ended up recording 14 songs with more that we were working on and decided not to finish at this time. We
Yeah.
finished 14 songs. By the end, we liked all of them and know that we want to release all of them at some point, but feel like probably for a future record, maybe we'd have 12, or if we do an EP, maybe 5 and 5 or something like that. I think this is the ultimate challenge of what happens when we put all of our resources into creating a record. Part of that was the writing retreats at White Star in Southern Virginia. We also recorded at Headroom Studios in Philly with Kyle Pulley. We did pre-production. This was really the first time that we were able to see what it might look like if we were able to sustain doing music as a career, as something where we were able to, if we had all the resources and all the time, what that could look like. And we didn't have all the resources or all the time, but we did have a lot more than we ever have as a band, and we were just really intentional about it.
During the process of making the album, What inspired you for the singles, the album art? Who did you use for the art? Did, collaborate with an artist and give your vision, and what was that vision?
With the same artist, Kasey, you're talking about for the upcoming and
Just for
record?
like, or even your past ones, if you're commissioning the same artist, working with the same people.
So in general, I feel like for my brain, I have a hard time with the visual medium. I know what I want things to sound like, and I know words and melodies and harmonic structure, but as far as visual stuff, most of the time I've been take this and make something. I feel like the difference this past time around with Kasey working on the single covers, she's made a point to be like, hey, let's meet up and talk, which I don't think there's a right or wrong way at all, but it has been very cool to challenge ourselves to be like, actually, what do we like and what don't we like? And to have someone be like, here's what I'm thinking. Okay, between these three things, what's speaking to you? And going
Nice.
through it like that throughout the process.
She asks such great questions when we're meeting with her and really helps us figure out what we want it to look like. And she has really great ideas.
When I'll ask this to every person, to Dan, Abby, and Rachel, my question is, who are your biggest music inspirations?
I feel like especially um in the recently, like while we've made this album, for me, I would say Wednesday, Rat
Hmm.
Boys, and Pax are three bands that I've been really inspired by.
Nice. I was this
This
close
right
to wearing my
here.
Wednesday shirt today.
We just
should've
saw
worn
that.
ours.
I also have this from them, a little bump y'all toured there. Carolina girls, listen to Wednesday.
Yes.
I love it so much.
We're there now too.
Very
We're on our way
nice.
now.
Dan, do you have yours ready? I can't see you for some reason, Dan. Now I can see everybody. Dan, do you want to go next while I think about it?
Yeah, for me, I listen to, man. Well, guys, listen to this. I was at a Wilco show the other night, and I sit next to this guy who's wearing a Wilco shirt, and he turned to me and he's, "What's your favorite Wilco song?" And I was like, "What the hell? How am I supposed to answer that?" Uh, no, but I will say I'm always super influenced by the things that I hear, and I like the band can attest to this. I'll be like, "Oh my God, did you hear this one section from this one band, this one song?"
Nice.
I would say of my favorite band of all time, and I use every opportunity to say this, my favorite band of all time is Third Eye Blind.
Oh, they're so
Yes.
good. I
Hands down,
love them.
favorite band. But for this record, it was all over the place, influence-wise. On one of the tracks, I kept saying we have to Wilco the hell out of this song. Other songs, it was certain songs where I was connecting because the each song is very different. There's a few songs that make sense together, but there isn't really a song that we wrote. I mean, it's all super cohesive. There's a lot of genre bending on this record. We got pedal steel and lap steel on certain songs. We got guest vocal. It's something we've never really done before, like cohesively. But I would say, for the record, I would say like there's be a song that I felt was influenced by like a Wilco sort of thing, or
Yeah.
Mansions is one of me and Rachel's favorite
Oh,
bands
they're
of
good.
all time, and I would say that there's at least one or two songs that feel to us, just because we're so familiar with that band, we'd be like, oh, this is Mansions-y. I was listening to the new Wednesday record because they wouldn't stop listening to it when we were writing the record. And I love that record now. I actually got it on vinyl. I think it's great. I would say that record, the Rat Boys, but I will say, because I already said they were my favorite band, I will say there is a song where Kyle and me and the band agreed that we wanted it to sound like Jumper from Third Eye Blind. I made it very
Yes.
clear, and I'm like, it has to sound like Jumper. I wouldn't say that it's a direct ripoff, but
Yeah.
the effect of the end of Jumper was like,
Nice.
we should do this. And I think Kyle was having fun with it too, because
Nice.
I remember telling him that Third Eye Blind was my favorite band. He's like, seriously? I'm like, serious.
Serious.
Absolutely.
Nice. Yeah.
But I will say, I think two key influences that we haven't named yet are any project that Michelle's Honor has been a part of. So Japanese breakfast, Little Big League.
Yes. Little Big
Yeah,
League.
I love Japanese
Yes.
breakfast.
So yeah, has always been like a huge part, I think, of songwriting inspo for me, and then yeah, Hop Along.
Oh my God, I love Hop Along. They are so good. I love them so much. Yeah, I can definitely hear that.
I can hear the influences, but you guys also have a very, like, your own unique sound, which I
Oh
think is
yeah.
very beautiful. And I think you guys work great together when you guys are making music. Phenomenal.
Rachel has my favorite vocals ever, so
Yes.
Well,
You have a
my
beautiful
favorite
voice.
vocals.
Yeah. I think it's nice when you can say that you aren't exactly like a specific band. You have your own unique sound, and sometimes that's rare in this music industry right now. You guys are killing it.
Thank you.
I've seen that y'all have won some whammies. How did it feel to win those?
Honestly, very cool. I feel it had been the first time that we were putting out music since our like debut record. We just love the DC music scene so much, and it means so much to us to be a part of something very special. To be recognized in front of our peers was very cool, and also at the same time, like certainly not the end all be all, certainly not like
Yeah.
why any of us are making music, but a cool
Yeah.
thing to be able to get recognized.
What is your dream lineup with Flowerbomb? What bands would you
Oh my
love the
God.
opportunity to play with? Yeah. Also, like,
Ooh.
dead or alive. Dead or
Dead or
alive. It
alive.
could be
I was just
anybody.
about to
Lineup.
ask,
Okay.
could it be?
Yes.
I was about to ask, could it be defunct bands? Because all my favorite bands are not bands anymore, but they're still alive.
Yeah. Yeah. Any band in the
Anything.
history of bands.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I feel like I could spend a whole day creating a fake festival
Yeah.
to be a part of. Okay, we'll open for all of these bands.
Yeah. Oh man, this is tough.
I will not stop talking about Wednesday because they have to be there.
No, I
Yeah.
agree.
Wednesday, if you watch this, hit them up for your next tour.
What about Blonde Shell?
Ooh, I was thinking about
Ooh.
them. Yeah. I want to play with every band ever.
I'll just say the same band I've always said, but I would say Rap Boys.
Nice.
I thought you were going to say Third Eye Blind.
I know, I did
I
too.
thought you were going to say that too.
I think Rap Boys would be a great band for Flowerbomb to go on tour with. So I hope Rap Boys is listening to this. They're all great people, and I
That's
think
true.
we all kind of share the same values. I think they would be phenomenal. But if I got to do a dream one, I would say Little Big.
Nice. That's
Hell
yeah.
That's really cool.
Japanese breakfast for Japanese
These would
breakfast.
all be dream
100%.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we're gonna get a dream lineup, I'm going after the band that doesn't exist anymore.
Right. Dream, we have to awaken them from their slumber.
Yeah, we just gotta put them together.
Which one of you would you say is the most technical?
Dan.
Dan.
Dan, what's one piece of gear that you can't live without?
Ooh. I gotta say, because
That's a
it's
great
been on
question.
every single Flowerbomb record, and I would say that when Rachel was still in high school, I'm pretty sure this made an appearance on her first EP, my Guild D55 acoustic guitar. It's all over the new record for the most part. I would say the Guild D55 just because instruments are always my favorite things, and we all love pedals. I think at this point, everybody has a pretty significant pedal board. But I would say the Guild D55 acoustic, which is funny because we're not really an acoustic band, but it's all over all of our stuff. Gloom Scroll, Pretty Dark. Actually, it wasn't on the split we did with Pretty Bitter, but there was acoustic guitar for sure. So yeah, I would say the Guild D55. Could not live without it.
Do you guys have anything else that you wanted to share with
Bring
the people?
up. Yeah.
Anything we missed?
Related to the single, I was thinking this morning, I was trying to remember how we recorded it about a year ago. We recorded in a few different places, and this song specifically, I recorded bass at Bias Studios in Virginia. Our friend Alex Van Wert was the engineer for that session. It was one of the first ones of this batch of songs that we just worked on. It was one of the first ones that was recorded on bass, so I feel like I have a really fun memory of recording this last year.
If you like this song, you should come see us play it on tour if you live on the East Coast. We're going to Lancaster, PA at Zoetropolis. Then we're playing in Philly. Then we're doing an event in Westminster called Rockin' the Raptors. Then we're playing the Fiesta Fresh Market in Newcastle, which is an up and coming supermarket tiny desk situation. We're playing the Beautiful Idea in Charlottesville, which is this queer bookstore. So that is very exciting. We're playing Chapel Hill. We're playing Richmond's. Then we're doing Union Stage in DC. And then we're finishing it off in Baltimore at Metro Gallery. And we're playing, every band we're playing with is really cool. Obviously, I know we can't go through every single lineup, but we handpicked almost every lineup on
That's
this tour.
awesome.
So we get to meet so many new bands, so that'll be fun
Yay.
to meet people
Fun.
every night.
That's awesome.
I'm excited for you guys. That sounds so much
I
fun.
know.
Thank
And
you.
I
Yeah,
hope
we're
you guys
so
have
excited.
I hope you guys have the
An
best time
awesome
ever.
tour.
Thank you. I'm sure it'll
Yeah.
be a blast.
Thank you
Alright.
guys so much for meeting with us.
Thank you
Same.
both so much. This was really like a very fun interview.
So, to the people watching, check out the new single and keep an eye out for a bigger release coming out someday. Bye.